In today's video, I'm going to push myself to use some hot glue and corn husks to create a few pieces of art. We'll also be using a few simple products to enhance this design and make a truly unique piece of art. So let's get started. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another video. Summer is here, and I am making corn. Corn. We love our corn here, and it dawned on me, maybe I could use these husks in a unique way and recycle some garbage, right? So I got out my hot glue gun, some chalk paint, and some corn husks, and I went to work. These are incredibly easy projects that you can do, and with the kids at home and everybody eating corn, why not get them involved and give them something to do? So first, I have here a Dollar Tree vase and I believe it was 10 by 20 wood canvas, although you can do this on any type of a surface. It doesn't have to be a wood canvas. It could be a regular canvas. So again, I'm using chalk paint and a sponge brush, and I'm just going to cover both of these surfaces in this color that is called cashew. Acrylic paint will work as well. It does not have to be chalk. I just like how fast the chalk paint dries, and it's a matte surface, so that's what I wanted to use it for. I had plans to create something that was flat on the background but shiny on the surface, so that's where this chalk paint came in. So once I covered these two products, or I should say surfaces, I let them dry, and then I came in with a pencil and started working on the board first. If you've never seen Ksuki Art, look it up. It's a process where you're creating a background or a painting, in this case, that looks like it just has cracks running through it. Again, I wanted to keep this incredibly simple for today. Next week, next Sunday at 3:30 p.m., you're going to see me use these corn husks in a whole different way in the painting. So make sure you have your notification bell on, because that painting is going to be something else. Wait until you see it. But anyway, I made all these little fissure lines on the canvas, and then I came in with my hot glue gun and just traced them with it. It's that simple. I have a little table in a room up against the wall that I wanted to put painting on the wall and then a little vase on the table. So I think this works out great when it's done. I love the way that it turned out. But here I'm just filling in some areas so that it looks like there's a solid little rock in between the crack, if that makes sense. But again, the design is totally up to you. You can just draw what you want and trace it with the hot glue gun. There's people that draw flowers, animals, all types of things. And again, a very simple type of art that's fun for kids as well. So I know some of you are babysitting grandkids, and I myself am this summer, and we got to keep them busy. So this would be a really easy one for them to do. So I just finished up putting these lines down, and then I just let it sit for about 15 minutes to make sure that hot glue was good and dry. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. Now, these little cavities that you have created, you can fill them in like different colors of acrylic paint. You can put glitter in them. I myself didn't want to do any of that for today's video. I just wanted to create some gold fracture lines. So what I did was I got out my mica and my high gloss varnish and mixed them together to make a little paste, which you'll see right now. And it looks like a molten gold when it's wet. It's just a beautiful product, and when it dries, it's so shiny. It's so metallic. So just put a small amount in a cup, mix some varnish in it till it's about this consistency, and then just put some on the edge of a paintbrush and lightly brush over that raised edge, and it will highlight it for you, okay? And it will turn it into this beautiful, beautiful metallic gold. You can also do this with acrylic paint if you don't have the mica powder, like a nice gold acrylic paint. However, because you're painting on top of glue, you will have to do 2 coats. It won't cover in the first coat, but it is doable. I have some old videos that I did in this type of art style that I'm going to try to find and link them in the description. They're pretty old, so I'm hoping I can find them because I have over 700 videos on my channel. But anyway, this is just the basic form of it. In those videos, I filled in and used different colors, like the cavities that I made in the paintings. So you can see kind of the difference. So I'm going to look really hard and try to find those, or at least one, and put it in the description for you. I've also done this technique on top of cutting boards, charcuterie boards that I sell at art fairs, and people love them. Again, this would be a bad example though, because I don't fill in the cavities on this specific painting, but I will definitely find one of those videos. I am determined to, and put it in the description so you can see the difference of how beautiful this technique can really turn out. Where I wanted to display this painting, though, I just wanted those 2 colors, and that's, my preference, I guess, right? So anyway, let's let that dry, and we're going to move on to the corn husks. So it dawned on me, you could probably make tons of things out of these corn husks, and I'm sure people do. They've done it for a long time. I went and researched, and I found flowers and wreaths and so many things. So I'm kind of upset that I haven't been doing this all along. But anyway, I'm cutting out about 4.5 to 5 inch long pieces, cutting them into triangles. Okay, Tammy, rectangles. And then I'm just going to peel them into 1/4 inch strips, just as you see me doing here. And I had this idea to turn them into kind of not really a flower. Think of like one of those frilly bows, but with a little flower center in the center of it. You'll see coming up here soon. But anyway, yeah, that was my idea for the vase. I wanted to create a little frilly bow flower on the front of it, and then display some of these corn husks in the vase as like a floral presentation. It ended up turning out really, really cute. And again, we're using waste to create art, so there's nothing better than that. So I created all these little pieces here, and then I took what I have that is called a bead roller, a paper bead roller, and it has a little metal rod that you could insert the end of the paper in it to hold it, and then you just roll the paper around it and you create paper beads. I did a video on this before, and I will leave a link in the description for you. However, you can use a skewer. You don't need this thing, or even a pencil. Anything that is round, you can twist these around and turn them into the little coils I'm going to make right now. This thing is just cool because it holds on to the end for you. I have very bad hands because I have rheumatoid arthritis, so it's hard for me to twist things and hold on to them at the same time. So this is perfect for me. But again, a skewer will work just fine for those of you that don't have hand issues. So I just twisted it around, pulled it off, and made a bunch of these little curly cues. Again, I'm not looking for anything fancy. I just want to make a cute, cheap little vase for this table. So again, I just wrapped it around the rod and continued to do so until I had a pile of them. If you don't have corn husks, you can just use some paper, get some colored paper, and cut it into strips, and wrap it around something cylindrical and make it into a little curly Q. Yes, I'm calling them curly Qs because I don't know what else to call them. So I made a bunch of them, and then what I started to do was just glue them to the front of my little vase. I just put a little dab of hot glue and then stuck them right on. And by the way, because this vase from the Dollar Tree is ceramic, the hot glue sticks really well. It's unglazed ceramic, so there's no pulling that hot glue off the surface. Some surfaces, like glass, you have to use um, a little bit of regular super glue to hold things on with the hot glue for a temporary hold. Not this surface. This works really, really well. So I glued these on, and then I trimmed the little edge that was hanging off past the hot glue drop. There's a little tiny lip there, so I just trimmed that off occasionally to get rid of them. But let me tell you something. If I can ever figure out how to not get glue strings, I will be the happiest woman alive. I cannot stand those glue strings. They're such a pain to clean up, too. So, if anybody knows the secret to not getting glue strings, I would appreciate it. Leave it in the comments below. So now I'm just trimming them because some are too long, and just trimming them with the scissors. And again, you can use paper. If you don't have the corn husks, it'll work just fine. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave a link for a tutorial where I use paper to make a bracelet, a paper bead bracelet, and you'll see how beautiful those turned out. And boy, did those sell well at the craft fairs. And speaking of, that time is approaching very quick. I need to start making some products. I'll be sure to create videos for you so you can see what some of my best sellers are. So now I have a piece of wax paper, and I'm just putting some different sized glue drops on the paper and letting them dry because I want to put one in the center of the flower, but more importantly, I want to add some to the vase. But here's the kicker. I want to dry brush the mica onto the surface of these glue drops because it sticks really well and you don't have to use the varnish. However, the mica is messy, and if I get it on the background of my vase, it's not going to be a pretty cashew color. It's going to be cashew with gold all over it because it'll stick to the surface. So the reason why I used varnish for the painting is because I couldn't draw those hot glue lines on a piece of wax paper and then transfer them over. It would have been a huge pain. This, I can do that, so I don't need to use the varnish. I just brush this on the surface and it grabs to the surface. Then what I'll do is just peel them off the wax paper and hot glue them onto my vase, and it'll keep it much cleaner. The hot glue, even though it dries with a rubbery, tacky surface, so mica will stick to that like no tomorrow. You'll never get it off of there. So that's a good thing about hot glue. So again, I'm just peeling it off. I'm going to peel that paper off of the back of the hot glue drop. And then I'm going to get to gluing these onto my little vase. So as I mentioned, I made different sizes. So here I'm just putting them in the center to see which one will look the best. Like that one's a little too big. So I end up getting the size smaller that I made, and that looks perfect. So you can see it's not a flower, but it kind of looks like a flower. Again, I just love those little curly cues. They're just so much fun. Now, I will mention these corn husks were not fully dry. They were somewhat dry, but not fully dry. Make sure if you do something like this that you let those leaves dry out really, really well before you use them. And then you want to store them in a dark, cool place, like in a plastic bag, okay? Next week's video, I'm going to be using them again in a different way, but you definitely want them dry, especially if you're going to use them with resin. You don't want any type of moisture to affect that resin after you put it over the surface. So dry them out good. And if you want to curl them, you don't want them like crispy dry to where they won't hold the shape. You just want them dry so they don't feel fresh. So now with the rest of my glue drops, I forgot to take my sticker off, I just noticed. I'm going to put them onto the vase with a little dab of hot glue, but I'm wearing gloves because, well, I'm wearing one glove on the hand that I'm working with because the last time I worked with this mica powder and I wore my glove, I didn't wear my gloves when picking up the little glue drops and touching them. I went to go handle my piece afterwards and it transferred dust from my fingers all over the piece. So now I'm learning my lesson. I'm only touching those with the gloved hand and holding the vase with the ungloved hand. See, even I learn new things every day. So I'll just place these cute little polka dots on the vase and put them all around. And then we're going to be done with these two simple home decor products, okay? So I want to know what you think about this. Let me know in the comments below. I think they look adorable, especially the vase. So we have a very simple Ksuki style painting and this cute little vase. And I took some more of those corn husks and shoved them in the top. And it's so cute. I love it. I think it's cute. Again, though, this Ksuki painting, if you want to see like a lot more detail and color in one, I'm going to post that for you below. I'll probably post the charcuterie board one. That will be the easiest to find. But just remember, it's the same as if you do it on a painting. The steps are all the same. So, my friends, I want to thank you so very much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please click like, please comment, and please subscribe and turn on your notification bell. If you are in the United States, I would like to wish you a happy 4th of July. And what better time to buy corn than 4th of July and save those husks so that next week when I show you the beautiful painting I'm going to make with them, you'll be able to do it right along with me. I love you all. I want to thank you so much for your continued support, all your great comments, and until the next time, which is next Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, happy creating.